Recently, one of the more unusual motions before the Snowy Monaro Regional Council was a proposal to formally reject the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and to prevent them from appearing in future council planning documents. Supporters of the motion argued that decisions affecting the Monaro should be made by people who live and work here, not guided by international frameworks developed outside the region. They said council's strategic plans should focus solely on local priorities such as farming, food and fibre production, and the unique needs of Monaro communities, rather than adopting language or objectives that many residents neither requested nor endorsed. After a passionate debate, the motion was ultimately carried by council.
Moving on, 11.4, remove UN SDG.
United Nations Sustainable Goals.
Yeah, that's the one. So I've said that there's an agenda to push a climate change narrative, and we'll see that being promulgated through our community. It's basically United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It's in a lot of things. It's in the Snowy Hydro with another thing called ESG, Environmental Sustainable Goals, and they have competitions and prizes amongst the large corporates. So Canberra Region Joint Organisation of Councils, to which we're a member, is heavily involved in pushing these United Nations agendas. So whilst we remove some of it from our council, it is constantly forced in to all the documents and agreements that we get drawn to. The point is to say, on behalf of our people, no, it's not something that we need. And if you don't think it's a problem, then go and talk to the people around Bombala and Delegate, where they're getting their large farmland bought up by the large corporates, and they're going to be converted into eucalypt forests, monocultures of eucalypt.
Order. Like, that is such a transgression from what those goals are all about. Like, that's just crackpot stuff.
Okay. What's your point of order?
The fact that he is just using this agenda to drive another very important agenda that's got nothing to do with sustainable goals. Yes,
It's not a point of order. Just thank you. Yeah. The large multinational corporates, particularly petroleum companies, are buying our farms. Our farmers have expressed concern, and those purchases are driven by Sustainable Development Goal agenda, carbon credits, carbon offsets, and the like. So what I'm saying here is in support of our farmers around the area who are outpriced by a factor of 10 compared to what they believe farmland is worth, as against what a large corporate values it when they factor in the carbon credits from monoculture plantings. And you only have to go back to the Wilmot days where they planted a lot of these tax evasion or tax minimisation scheme plantings of blue gums around Morwell and the Latrobe Valley. And fast forward 8 years, the trees were about 6 metres tall. They bulldozed all the trees so they could go back to farmland and grass because those schemes all failed. So what I'm saying here is I have listened to the debate and the presentations. I have talked to our farmers around the area. This is something that they want us to address. It's a pretty simple idea, and I thank Councillor Elliott for promising to support it.
So someone's been against.
Mm-hmm. So, the UN Sustainable Development Goals, no poverty, quality education, climate action and peace are integrated into to balance social, economic, environment, sustainability. Councillor Saylor's debate about the fact that big companies are coming in and buying up our farmland to, I don't understand what your point is, but we do acknowledge that big companies are buying up our farmland as a carbon offset to their industry. But that is a completely different issue. I would be absolutely horrified if I was a farmer at Delegate and Bombala and I heard your debate into why UN Sustainable Goals is a reason that we're buying up farmland for carbon trading. Just crazy stuff. Our whole aim around having UN sustainable goals in our community plan is around the fact that we want to have a vibrant community. We want to have no poverty, quality education, and we want to have social, economic and environment sustainability. That's where we live. They are key things our community wants. And if we're going to have a debate about big companies coming in and buying up our farmland, let's be absolutely logical about it and not crackpot. So we're actually taken seriously. I've never heard anything so ridiculous in all my life.
Thank you. Does someone speaking for the motion? Councillor Rhodes.
I think, once again, Councillor Powler has alerted us to an issue. The issue for us really as a council is to make decisions, and we took a note of this, for the benefit of the community, the local community. There is a different agenda being set well outside our community that seeks a different outcome. So I think it is a reasonable issue to bring before us. I think I was pleased that there was enough consensus to actually take the sustainable development goals out of our community plan, because the plan really needs to be about our own agenda for our local community. So I do think we need to make decisions that are in the benefit of our own community for the issues that our community raises. If you read a lot of the material behind it, you can see that the actual intent behind the sustainable development goals is not the intent that people would have in our community for the issues that are important. So this is a more important issue than it looks. And I think the issues about how we make decisions, how we consult the community, and how we make decisions in the best interest of the community will become increasingly challenging in the years to come, because there are those above us at different levels who want to make decisions in other ways. I'll just draw attention to the fact that there's a $30 billion development going out near the new airport, and that's in the region controlled by the Camden Council, but Camden Council had no say because it's what's the term? State significant development. So let's say those situations where there's going to be conflict between what the state wants and what the community wants. So I'm thankful that we just had this discussion. I don't think it's worthwhile prolonging it, but I do think it's important. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Right. So, yes, I also have done a bit of research into the United Nations Sustainability Goals. I must be on a different website to everyone else. Because these goals are actually, it actually states this is about empowering local communities to make decisions for themselves. So the bit about, someone in New York is telling us what to do, that actually isn't correct. It is about working towards goals which I'm pretty sure that some of the councillors around this table have already raised before, around decent work and economic growth. I think we want economic growth for our region. Clean water. I've definitely heard motions about clean water. Affordable energy. These are all no-brainers. This is what we want for our community. We want our communities to thrive. And these goals they literally use the words about local people doing the work at the local level to meet the needs of their local community. Sounds a little bit like what council does. That's what we are supposed to be doing. So I don't think we'd look very good if we pass a motion that says that we're against the thing that says that what we should be doing. Because if we're not for a sustainable economic growth and future for our community that involves the people in the community, then maybe we are North Korea. So I don't know. I think this is just another silly motion, and I would not recommend anyone voting for it or letting it see the light of day.
Well, it's not a silly motion to the people in Tomboyne or Dalgety. So let's look quickly at the goal. Goal number 1 is no poverty. Well, what about the farmers who have their farm purchased off them because they can't outprice these large corporates? They then can't work. They can't do what they like. So you can create poverty through displacement. If you look at zero hunger, if we are replacing our food and fibre industries with monocultures of trees that are not allowed to be cut down or harvested for 20 years, I'm actually analysing the sustainable goals.
Sorry, I apologise. Councillors, go write a reply. You stopped interrupting. I understand, but he's got to write a reply. I can't. I understand, but we can't. You have to allow him to write a reply in silence.
Thank you. So goal 2 was zero hunger. And as I was highlighting, if you remove all the sheep and the cattle and your fibre production, where's the food come from? This is the point that I'm making. Let's look at these goals. Good health and well-being. Well, the psychological impacts are quite severe upon our farmers who are facing wildfire through young, growing eucalypt forest. That's one of the biggest fears they have is I've got 1,000 acres of eucalypt around me. How do I defend my little farm? Or their big farm in some cases. Decent work and economic growth. There is no decent work in a eucalypt forest because you're not allowed to cut it down. You're not allowed to do anything with it for 20 years because that's how you get your carbon credits. So the farmer with the sheep and the wool and the fencing maintenance, they're gone. Those jobs are gone. So there is no decent work or economic growth in this scenario. Industry, innovation and infrastructure. Again, there is none of that in a monocultural eucalypt forest grown for carbon credits that cannot be cut down for 20 years. Reduced inequalities. Well, I think I've made that point pretty clear. Sustainable cities and communities. It's not sustainable. Responsible consumption and production. That's goal 12. Climate action is what's driving this agenda in the first place, Councillor Davis, and I think it's the first time you've ever looked at the sustainable goals, but I'm glad that you have. Climate action is what's driving a lot of this. Life below water, avoid plastic bags to keep the oceans clean. We don't have an ocean in here. Life on land. Plant a tree and help protect the environment. That's goal 15. Well, our Shire is going to have 1 billion trees planted at the expense of our cattle and sheep and fibre jobs. Councillor Higgins, I don't think you understand it. It's a pretty immature response. Because you can plant a tree, where are the jobs gone for our shearers and our fence and our...
I want silence. A minute left.
Goal 16 was peace, justice and strong institutions, and Goal 17 was partnerships. Revitalise the global partnership for sustainable development. Here we go. We keep going back into these buzzwords. I'm saying we either stand for our local farmers and industry, our forest, our fibre production. We've got a chip mill at Eden. We feed the cardboard mill over in Tumut. We are a powerhouse of output of fibre, be it wool or wood, and meat, be it cattle or sheep. All the jobs that go with that. We risk losing those if you embrace these goals because you don't really stop to understand them. So this motion is about our area, what we are known for, what we are priding ourselves on. We are a powerhouse of food and fibre. And the innovation that comes from that is profound. That's what I'm looking at, our heritage, what we are as a region. You ask anyone about the Monaro, everyone knows the Monaro.
Thank you. With that, I'll put the motion. Councillor Davis. Councillor Davis, go. Councillors, I'll put the motion. All those in favour of the motion up on the board. Councillor Rose, Councillor Elliott, Councillor Saylor, Councillor Stewart, Councillor Williamson. All those against. Councillor Summers, Councillor Higgins, Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Davis, Councillor Rooney. You're for? Councillor Hannah, it's carried. What? Yay! Oh, hang on, maybe not. Wait, sorry, hang on. Sorry. No, 6-4. Yeah, 6-5. 4. Yeah, no, you're right. It's carried. Excellent.